Alright, stream is up now.
Alright. Here we are then for the Mexican Grand Prix. Everyone is ready in the pits, everyone's ready to come out whenever they are. It should be a very interesting race. I've commentated 3 Mexico races and this should... Actually no, this is my 3rd one. So I would know how much fun it is to have it, the drivers around here. So
Yeah.
let's have a look. Track info. The track length is 4.3 kilometers, which roughly amounts to 2.6 miles. You're obviously going to have a short quali, which we are doing now, and 36 laps around this track. And the first Grand Prix held here was in 1963, so it's a pretty historic circuit. You've got 17 corners and 3 DRS zones, but many overtaking places coming through the first couple of corners. And obviously, the DRX straight entering turn 4 is also going to be a high candidate for overtakes. And many drivers are coming out of the pits now.
Yeah.
Laps.
So we ride on board with Prens and his outlap. He's running a special tribute helmet to Sir Frank Williams, who sadly passed away this weekend. So it'll be interesting to see what he can do in honour of the great man, as he now comes around the final bend to start his first flying lap. Down the long straight into turn 1, open DRS, and was one of the longest runs to turn 1 in the whole calendar. He'll brake around the 100-meter board, gets his braking spot on, rise over the curb a little bit. It's all very nice through turn 1. Could have carried a bit more exit speed though, as he climbs up to end the first sector. He's purple obviously because he's the first car out on track. So he now rounds the bend, almost losing it, but keeps it on track as he goes around the double apex turns of 10-11 and into the tricky S section. It looks very nice, but it doesn't look like there's a lot of speed. There's a AlphaTauri off in front of him. I wonder who that is. 57.7 middle sector. We'll have to see what this lap time is in correlation to all the other drivers when they cross the line. He locks up into the hairpin. That is going to lose him a lot of time, and HRUK will not be helping him as he climbs up to the line now. Let's see what this first lap time will be. It'll be a 1:18.3 to start this session.
Not a bad lap there, 1:18.3 to start us off. One's behind, also going to be chasing them out to try steal that lap. And we're watching Wolfie 907 at the moment. He's on his lap on the medium tyres. He's going through the final corners now and around that right-hander. And across the line he goes. That's going to be a sub 1:18, 1:17.8.
Yeah, very nice lap on the mediums from the Williams driver. Moving yourself up 5 tenths clear of the Ferrari.
Anyone behind doing the lap? Yep. Has won us on his lap as well, but if I'm looking at this correctly, he might not improve, he might not jump anyone else. He's coming through the final corners now. Through that corner and then onto turn 17. Through now, as that's the fastest lap there. Ferrari taking first, and never mind, take that back. The Haas has just boosted everyone up.
That is a fantastic lap.
1:59.
What a lap from the Haas driver. He's not messing around this week. But Prince moves up to P2 with 16.3.
Alpine second and third now. as Danilo goes third, and before that, Prince got second place, 4.5 tenths behind the Haas. So even though it might have been an impressive lap, it might not be enough to jump in, as there's a slow Haas. That might just be David.
Just ATR UK looking very fast through the middle sector. Goes purple, the championship leader by 3 points to Harry in 4th position right now, 2nd in the championship. He'll be looking to outscore his rival. So he now exits the final turn. Low on ERS, well does that put him? P5, only a 10th off Harry, his championship rival. So that's set up to be a very interesting grid. The race. Piptech puts himself into P6, and Joe's on a lap which he has invalidated. Sliding ball with K Dots, now he exits the final sector. Let's see what the McLaren can do.
Okay.
Now into P9.
Not bad. A decent lap there. He got himself into the position he definitely needed to be in. Looks to me that anyone else trying to get ahead might not just do it. The ones who have boxed already are coming out again.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah, Wolfie's coming out. That's new, fresh, soft tyres as well. Might have to check what tyres people are on. Get a good look of who's chosen the good position, and if not, then
I'm just riding aboard Jabil, finishing his lap, revving out 3rd gear. He comes round the final bend. Well, this lap put him P4. Very nice lap for the Alpine driver as he elevates himself. Mercedes driver, sorry. As Piptech is retired, I don't know. I think that might be a retirement in the pit lane. I'm not quite sure what happened there.
Up to 9th is Livro Cadots, as he is up to 9th with a lap of a. He's 1.5 seconds. 1.5 seconds behind the leader as his teammate comes out of the pits on new fresh tyres. This should be the first time he's coming out. He's gonna have to set a really good lap, as we are now watching the Mercedes driver of Jabil 17. He's once again on another flying lap. Oh,
As he
he's
just runs
invalidated.
wide, yeah. Invalidation. He was only marginally up. It would have not improved his position. So
Just a bit wide there, but anywho, he's gone wide. The lap is invalidated. Disappointing.
not what he would have wanted, but there's still time to get out and do another run. Still plenty of time. Can possibly do 2 runs if he so wish so. As Harry's on the out lap. Live K-Dots is on another lap. Do not know how much he's up, but his teammate, Perfect Pond, gets in his way, but I think he's spun and he's coming into the pits anyway, so I don't think it'll matter that much. It's Perfect Pond, another one in the championship fight, only 12 or so points off AGR UK, so it'll be interesting to see what he can do tonight after a terrible race at Portimao.
Aston Martin of the Scout Dan, he finishes this lap, gets up to 13th. Aston Martin 13th and 14th at the moment.
Wolfie P2.
Oh, yeah, Wolfie's jumped all the way up to 2nd. Still not able to beat Euro David just yet.
They're getting closer though. They're definitely getting
Very.
closer.
0.2 seconds of a gap. Prems is also on another lap. He was 2 tenths up in last lap in the first sector, but he got his lap invalidated on the same corner as literally everyone else on the exit of that final turn before the final DRS straight. He's hoping that he doesn't get it invalidated this time. tries to go too wide on the exit, and he does it perfectly. Rams is a
About 10th up. Should gain a lot of time for his final sector, where we saw him make the mistake earlier. As he now rounds the final bend. Oh, and perfect pond. Take provisional pole with a 1:15.870, and Prems moves up to P9. Very nice lap for the Ferrari driver. Who's next across the line? It will be Dan, but he's invalidated. I think ATR UK is on the lap, but he didn't improve. No, he started the lap, sorry. And Dirk is also on the lap as well. 84, 4 temps up though.
Okay.
So he's 9 temps up through the middle sector is Dirk. David's a bit behind in his lap, but he's also in a similar part of the track to Dirk. Only 1/10 up though, but it will be enough to give him provisional pole. Now ride on board with Dirk. Dirk to the line, goes P13 on the mediums as there's a spin of one of the Ferraris, and David goes provisional pole 1:15.5. What a fantastic lap.
Whoa! I thought it started off. It started off with him getting the fastest lap, and then it got taken by Perfect Pond, and then he's taking it back again. This can really show the speed of the Haas. With only one driver here racing at the moment, it can still get a good result in that Haas, as long as he avoids any incidents.
Yeah, definitely. Unfortunately, his teammate Eitler had to pull out a few hours before the races. Dirk has lost it as we were riding on board with the Alfa Romeo, and he's got a bit of M-pit damage, but he will be able to come in and fix that. Joe's not having the best of sessions, not the one he would have wanted. We know he can be very quick and challenging right up at the front, but it looks like it just hasn't clicked for the AlphaTauri at the moment as David cuts the corner to get back to the pit lane quicker. As we now ride on board with Danilo, who's 3 temps up apparently. Oh, he's only a few hundredths up as he crosses the first sector split. This will be enough to put him past Perfect Pond. I think he's actually, I don't know if he's still pushing. I believe he is, but this will be his second lap on these tyres, which is not something you want to do around Mexico with tyre wear being quite high on the softs. But if it gives you a better grip position, then why not? He's 10th up, purple through the middle sector. As he now rounds the hairpin, almost out of ERS, 16%. Come around the last few bends, final corner. Can he steal provisional pole? No, he pulls into the pit lane. As Prinz is also on a lap. Let's see what his first sector split time is looking like. He is a 10th down through the first sector, not what Alpine would have wanted to hear as he started his lap. But there's plenty of time to gain back in the next few sectors as he rounds the double apex into the tricky S section. Over the curbs a bit. Koenig Klunt is retired on track, so that will probably be a penalty. But Prinz is 4 tenths up and purple through the middle sector. It's a fantastic middle sector for the Alpine driver. As now all he needs to do is navigate the last sector, and it's very clean from the Alpine. As he now rounds the final bend, will he put it on provisional pole? No, but it's P2. Very good lap for the Alpine driver.
Alpine up to second place in qualifying, with only 3 minutes remaining. No, I mentioned behind the Alfa Romeo, Koenig Klunt, he had a little incident. I think he had it one before, and he's had it again, but this time he's came off worse.
It's Perfect Pond's outlap got ruined by Aston, who just came up behind him after cutting the track, and I believe Perfect Pond thought he was on a hot lap, so just steered into the wall, and I believe got wing damage, which is not ideal for him. It's AGR UK taking a very interesting line on his outlap, just cutting through the whole of turn 1. No one on flying laps at the moment, but David is about to begin his final flying lap. Let's see where he can put his house. How much can he extend his lead? He'll be one of the first cars to cross the line for their final run, so let's ride on board with this lap as he passes Danilo down the main straight, coming down into turn 1, hitting the marks at the 100-meter board. Perfect. Not very good line. You see, is a bit hesitant on corner turning into turn 2, but gets it all sorted out on the exit of 3. Let's see how much he's up, if any, in the first sector. He's a 10th up in the first sector as he now swings it around the double apex of the Mexican track into the tricky S section, which you've seen drivers get wrong all qualifying session. 5th gear, 6th gear, 7th gear, 7th gear again, and now onto exit. It doesn't run wide and invalidate, and is only 300ths up through the middle sector as he now comes down to the final sector. Williams in his way might be getting in his eyesight and distracting him. He now rounds the final corner. Can he improve on his lap time? Yes, by 6/10 of a second. No, 4/10 of a second, sorry. He improves with a fantastic final sector. And Prince is on an outlap that I don't think he will get finished because there's only 54 seconds. We'll have to do some serious corner cutting to get that one done. But Danilo's on a lap as well, so let's see what he can do. As he rounds turn 1, someone has improved, I believe, at the back. Dirk is also on a lap on the soft compound tyres. It looks like he backed off on his first one. Joe, 2 seconds up as he comes around the final corner, runs it quite a bit deep, but moves up to P8 just behind his teammate, who is now beginning his lap, but he's right behind the McLaren of Perfect Pond. So he's going to be getting a bit of dirty air, but also a bit of a tow. So let's see what these guys' lap times look like. As Danilo rounding the final corners of the final sector. Prince did manage to get to the line, which is incredible. Danilo up into P2, 1:15.7 for the Alpine drivers. His teammate now begins the lap as there's a Red Bull off at turn 1. David into the pit lane. He will not set another lap. Dirk, where will he go? And there's Alfa Romeo, 7/10 up into P7. Alfa Romeo, very respectable lap time. As Jayville now 3/10 up at the second sector split as he now rounds the final corner. Ooh, a bit of a tank slap on exit up into P7. Perfect Pond, where can he put his McLaren? 3/10 down, doesn't improve. AGR UK does improve, but marginally, and only goes into P8. And I think that is it, but Prince is still on a lap, but he has invalidated. So that is it for qualifying. David on pole by 6/10 of a second. What a fantastic session.
It's definitely been something, I do say, and URL David absolutely smacking in those laps ever since the start. Ever since the beginning, first couple of minutes, bang, fastest lap. Got taken from Perfect Pond, never mind, get that one back. And then he just goes a little bit further and gets a 1:15.1, which is, I have never seen a lap like that in Mexico in my life.
Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic from the Haas driver. So let's go down through the grid. David on pole by 6/10. Danilo and Alpine putting it P2 and P3, just like last week at Portimao. Perfect Pond starts P4. He'll be hoping for redemption. Wolfie P5 looking to get back in the championship fight. Iswanis P6. Jabil 7th. Championship leader down in 8th. Dirk P9. Joe P11. Second in championship in P11 alongside his teammate. Black Country 13th. Casper 14th. Piptech and K-Dots on the 8th row of the grid, with Aston, Cloning Clon and the Scout down rounding out the grid.
Right. I'm sort of having deja vu here, because I've been... 3 races, right? I've been commentating Mexico for in 3 different leagues.
Yeah.
Both of them had Haas drivers on pole position.
Maybe this is just a Haas track.
In the race, they didn't even finish in the points.
Oh dear. Well, David will be hoping that's not the case. But he'll be...
It's not the curse.
Yeah. He'll have a hard job from pole though, as we know it's probably the worst position to start in at Mexico with that long drag race down to turn 1.
If I were anything, if I were to defend my position, off the start, I would try pull over to the right as fast as I can, and then try even it out across into turn 1.
Yeah, but he'll have the 2 Alpines who'll be probably working together to try get past him. So he'll have a tough job keeping both of them behind, if any.
Yeah, it's going to be quite difficult there. And is there a formation lap?
Yes, there is.
Okay. Just checking because, yeah.
David leads us away for the formation lap. And it's going to be a very interesting 36 laps. We're going to see some people doing the 2-stop. And maybe some people trying the medium to hard 1-stop, which will be very interesting. As it's not one of the favoured strategies, but it can work really well if you get it right. But
I just wanna... Okay, sorry.
Oh,
I'm just looking here
Casper's
at the
off.
tyres. Black Country Mush in the Williams, he's starting on the hard tyres.
That's a very bold decision. Maybe he's hoping for a late safety car. It's boxed onto softs maybe, or he's doing the hard to medium instead of medium to soft.
You've just got so many strategies you could possibly do. You could start on softs, box onto mediums, and mediums again. You could go from hards to double softs. It's just crazy. It's probably what you could do.
Yeah, endless possibilities in this one here. And remember, if you want to get more involved in the Nitrous Racing Leagues, remember to subscribe. You can get exclusive emojis and unlock sub only mode by subscribing to the channel, and it also helps us out here as the admin team, as we have more funding available. But now the drivers line up to the grid. David on pole. Will he stay in first position by the end of lap 1? We do not know, but what we do know is that this is going to be a very interesting start, as Aston is doing a very slow formation lap. He's very far behind K-Dots, so that is interesting. Maybe playing mind games with the McLaren and a few drivers in front of him. Starting on the medium compound tyres is Aston Martin, whereas his teammate starts on the softs from P19, so there might be some team orders at the start of the race. But now all 19 drivers are here as we watch Dan roll up into his grid space. The lights will go green in a few seconds. Once everyone is ready, to 1 red light, 2 red lights, 3 red lights, 4 red lights, 5 red lights, and away we go for the Mexican Grand Prix. Very good start from David, very good start from Danilo, but an even better start from Prince, who's looking to the outside. It's 4 wide into turn 1. Oh my god, there's a massive crash at the back. Black Country is out of the race, and there's a virtual safety car, and the Alpines are P1 and P2. What has just happened?
I kind of saw something at the back, I think
Yeah.
it was contact. The McLaren doesn't have a front wing, so I'm gonna guess. I definitely see him go off at the back, but if I'm right here, I saw in the McLaren. Do you know what happens when you grab, like, when you get someone's what do you call it, the front wheel when you're
Yeah.
behind and he just goes sailing off the circuit? I think that's what happened. Ripping
Oh
off the front
dear,
wheel
that
in the
is a
process.
horror start at the back. I accidentally flicked to the battle at the back as soon as there was the crash. Looks like PipTech got out of it unscathed, but he is P18. Live K-Dots and Casper don't have a wing. Koning Klon, I'm not too sure if he... It doesn't look like anyone apart from Casper, K-Dots and obviously Black Country have been harmed. It's now been upgraded to a full safety car. Will we see some drivers pit? But if you're David, this is a terrible start. Like I said, starting from P1 is not where you want to be at Mexico, and he's already down to P4 after lap 1. Black Country leaves the session. That's not what he would have been wanting. Is Prinz is into the pit. Alpine splitting the strategy, one up front, one at the back on new tyres, and let's see who can do better out of the two come the end of the race.
Alright, hard tyres going on for Prince as he comes out. Kind of bold move here. I thought those softs could have lasted longer, but pitting under the safety car can save you a lot of time. And it looks like the others have also so thought that, as we are looking at so we're looking at tyres. We have got most people pitting for either hard or mediums, and the McLaren of Livo Cadot has pit onto the soft tyres, and he,
Interesting.
if I'm right at this,
Looks like he's committing to possibly a 2-stop strategy here today.
so he started on soft and he's pit onto more soft.
Yeah, so that is definitely a 2-stop, possibly a 3-stop for the McLaren driver.
Ooh.
But it's a perfect start for Danilo. Good start for Perfect Pun. He's ready on to P2 with his championship rival AGR UK and Harry down P15 and P16. Championship leader AGR UK, not what the start he would have wanted, but there's plenty of time to fight back in this Mexican Grand Prix. As Casper's boxed onto the hards, he's going to go long and hope for a late safety car to bail him out.
Here we are, as we finally start lap 2. This is going to be the best of starts for the Alpine drivers. They just had such a good traction off the start that they just absolutely pile drive the Haas down the straight without even doing anything. They just had the best of starts.
Prince had a really good start, and that's what really hurt David, because he came over to the right to try and cover Danilo, but he didn't realise Prince had got an even better start than both of them, and Prince just went round the outside of both, and then Perfect Pond in the slipstream of all three was able to get alongside, and it was 4 wide into turn 1, which I'm sure would have not ended well had the safety car not been called out at that exact moment, right before the braking zone.
This is quite an interesting start to the Grand Prix. Safety car even before turn 1, but even before the second straight, there was a safety car right away, and I can't believe it, really. I
Yeah,
didn't expect this much of a chaotic start. And yeah, as you were saying, the Alpines, he tried defending on the right, did David. He didn't realise that Prince had the start of his life absolutely done him into turn 1 around the outside, as the safety car has been called in to go for this lap. The McLaren is lagging like mental. I have honestly no idea why. Is he doing the same thing for you, Perfect Pond?
he's not lagging that badly for me. He looks pretty stable.
He's quite teleporting, but the Alpine of Danilo,
He's gonna have to have a good restart, because the drag down to turn 1 is gonna be crazy. And here comes Perfect Pond in the slipstream. J-Ville's
Big
already
crash,
out
big
the
crash.
session. I do not know what has happened there, but J-Ville's out of the session. Perfect Pond is draining all the ERS, serves Danilo. Can he go around the outside, be later on the brakes, does the switchback, sends Danilo deep, but just can't get the move done as Danilo parks his car perfectly on the apex, and now David has a go at Perfect Pond, moves up into P2, aggressively switched to the inside. Will he go for it on Danilo? No, he does not. He controls himself down into turn 4, and Aston is already up to P4. The Aston Martins are P4 and P5. What on earth has happened here? From P17 and P19, they have managed to leapfrog themselves up into the top 5. And 3 wide into the tricky S section. PitTech has to back out. Harry and Joe side by side. Harry gets the move done around the outside. And now AGR UK looks under pressure from K-Dots. He's going to try and go around the outside. Has to go off track. But he's going to send it down the inside. As now Prince is getting involved. And he sends it down the inside of both. And there's contact between Prince and K-Dots. But I think everyone has come out unscathed. As now AGR UK and Prince battle it out of the final corner. And Prince has been pushed off. And he is down to P15 as K-Dot spins, losing the rear end. And that puts the end to his battles with the top AGR UK Elite Casper and Prince Colante, as Prince now goes for the move on Elite Casper. Around the outside. Oh, and Casper, that was naughty. Casper sprints Prince around, and that could be a post-race penalty coming his way. It says yellow flag in sector 1 and 2. Conan Cron is off the track and has picked up a 3-second time penalty for exceeding track limits, and Hazwanis is all over the back of Dan, who's looking to hold up Hazwanis and the rest of the pack for his teammate Aston, who can hopefully go and score some more points for the Aston Martins in their bid, in their battle for the Constructors' Championship.
So, up at the front, we're about to enter lap 6, and we've got the top 3 in a gap of only 1.2 seconds separating all of them. And the Haas is looking ready for an overtake. He's been waiting for this for a couple of laps now.
Here he comes, down to turn 1. Doesn't have DRS, I think it's one more lap he has to wait. But right now, he has superior energy with Danilo only having 40%, but compared to Haas's 70, and Perfect Pond is only on 30 as well.
Now, down the straight. He won't have DRS just yet.
Casper gets the move done on PitTech. AGR UK is under pressure. He's ready, flashing red, and that is almost a wave by signal for the rest of the drive. But PitTech is going to come back at Casper, but can't get moved on the Red Bull. How many times have we heard that this season? And Dirk now on the back of both.
Let's just say a lot. For the sake of things, DRS enabled on the Haas. David doesn't look to have any space there.
He's
for an
going
overtake.
for the main straight.
He's gonna wait. He's gonna have to wait because there's no other chance he's gonna get past through the final corners. And now we finally entered the straight. The DRS is gonna come through for Danilo. This is going to be a frightening chance for David to get past, and he's certainly done that on the straight. We're going to have a look from the McLaren behind. Perfect Pond could gain some time thanks to this fight. Danilo might just have DRS as well.
It's Hazwanis who's got past both Astons, and that's crucial in his race, as he needs to catch up to the top 4. Aston's not really at the pace around here. Not really on the pace around here. Is now Harry is going to look to clear them as well, as Koenig Klont has spun at turn 3, I believe, on the exit. Oh, Harry making a little bit of contact with Aston, who's actually been overtaken by Dan. I missed that completely. But Harry is all over the back of the Aston Martins. He now looks for a move to tricky X session. Will Aston leave him space? No, he will outbrake him. and smart from Harry to back out of that. He does not need to ruin his championship by fighting with these guys. As AGR UK is only down at P10. He now gets the move done with DRS and ERS into the stadium section and moves up into P6 in this race, shortly to be P5, as he will most likely get past Dan as well. But Danilo looking to have another look at it. As the top three is broken away. Look at the gap to Haswanis, 8.4 seconds. Koenig-Kron is off again. Is now, here comes Prems on Joe looking for the move out of ERS, 0%, but he is going to send it on the AlphaTauri, and he moves up to P8 in this race. And next up is Aston for the Ferrari driver. AGR UK still struggling in P10, but he is closing the gap down to the cars ahead. Dirt P11. Prince has managed to re-overtake Casper after his incident with the Red Bull, and it looks like Casper may have lagged out, which is unfortunate for the Red Bull driver. Turning clumps into the pits.
Top three once again, and on lap 3, these three have been on the soft tyres since the start, and tyres don't seem to be much a problem though, as they are still pulling away from the cars behind. And this time it's going to be Danilo, who might just get a little bit closer than he was before. DRS wide open once again. The ERS isn't going to be enabled this time. He isn't going to gain much, he isn't as close, but the DRS on the straight is quite powerful, and he's already gained 3 tenths from how far back again? 8 tenths. So it's very good from him, and now he's going to get DRS again. This straight is going to be a lot smaller, a lot less powerful for him. He's at least going to gain a little more time. As
Harry getting past Dan. Maybe Dan's going to fight this, but Harry holds on around the outside. Good overtake from the Ferrari.
Good overtake there. Dan could get back past. No, he can't. He will stay behind in 6th. A good showing by the Aston Martin so far, but they seem to be dropping places ever so slightly.
Danilo struggling through the middle sector in the dirty air. He's dropped to 9 tenths behind now. David is trying his utmost to push these guys out of DRS range, but look at his ERS, 80%. He can just pull the pin whenever he wants to. And I think if you're Perfect Ponder Danilo now, who's now dropped out of DRS, you have to go for the undercut, and as I say that, Perfect Pond into the pits.
Alright. Hopefully it's going to be a good stop by him. And now, trying to make it slow. Switch on
good
the medians.
Stop from McLaren,
it's a slow exit.
Yeah, wasn't paying attention to his screen as he exits the pit slowly. But it should be enough. His undercut is very powerful. Very, very powerful around Mexico. But we'll see where he comes out in correlation to the other 2 drivers that he's fighting with at the top. Is K-Dots is off again. In the background is now Prems gets re-overtaken by Joe into turn 1, and now AGR UK is going to have a look at the Ferrari. Can both AlphaTauris get past the Ferrari on lap 10? Yes, they can is the answer, but Prems is going to fight this around the outside. He's going to go down the inside, runs over the curb. AGR UK with a better traction gets into P8 and takes yet another crucial position in this race for him. But let's stay on board with the top 2 now, coming around the final bends. Will any of them box? No. David stays out another lap. Danilo stays out another lap. So Perfect Pond.
Prem's under pressure, and he's got the Alfa Romeo around the outside.
Oh, what a move.
Brakes late though. Still
Perfect Pond going for the send. He's not messing around. Perfect Pond needs to clear this traffic to make the undercut work. But at the moment, Danilo, Dan boxes. Danilo and David might have played this perfectly, because Perfect Pond is currently having to clear traffic whilst they're out in front in the clean air, just extending their gap. So could their engineers have warned them there, about the traffic, which would have been a smart play from them if they have any race engineers for this race. Is now Joe's under a bit of pressure from Aston. They go now down into turn 4, but nothing doing there. Perfect Pond round the outside of Dirk. Fantastic move up into P8. So much more grip on the McLaren's new tyres. And AJR UK, oh, there's a bit of a kerfuffle between K-Dots and Prems. And Prems, I believe, has damage on his... No, he doesn't. It might be K-Dots, I don't know. I thought I saw some M plate there.
Ooh, Perfect Pond could be getting past AJR UK soon. Breaks late and has to...
Maybe he'll send it like he did. Yes, he does send it like he did on... I've forgotten who it was now, but anyways, he gets the move done up into P7. And now he's going to easily overtake Aston. This is a fantastic, aggressive drive from McLaren. He's not messing around. Aston tries to weave to break the toe, but it's all in vain because of the McLaren's superior straight line speed. So McLaren moves up into P6 now, with only Joe to clear before he has a bit of fresh clean air where he can really use these tyres. But now David has extended his gap to 2.3 seconds in the lead as Dan gets past Piptech at the back.
Danilo really struggling at the front. He's been losing time ever since he's been overtaken by David to get back into the lead again. And behind Perfect Pond, his next victim is Joe, and Joe's got 9 lap old hards on him, while Perfect Pond has got around 3 lap old mediums.
As he actually picks up a 3-second time penalty who exceeding track limits. And if
aggressive defending from Joe there, falls right over to defend.
Perfect Pond doesn't care, around the outside, all doesn't work, and he has to cut the corner to get the position. I presume the game would have told him to give the position back as he lets him through on the exit. But now he's going to have a chance with the ERS. I don't think he got DRS because Joe was behind at the detection point. So that is definitely not what you want if you're Perfect Pond. Just losing even more time to the leaders. There's the gap now. The gap now to leader is 25.9. 25 seconds, 0.9. So that's going to be quite the gap to catch, and he doesn't get down the second DRS straight because of the same detection point for both DRS zones down the main straight and the next straight. K-Dots picks up 3 seconds, and I think if you're David or Danilo, now's the time to box. David's into the pits. Will Danilo go for the overcut? Yes, he will. Danilo's playing it different. Maybe he's going to try the one stop today. I don't know if his tyres will hang out, but they look very fine from what we can see here on the graph. As David boxes onto the mediums, will he try stretch it to the end? I highly doubt it, but he could try. I think Perfect Pond will be on the 2-stop as he has gotten past Joe in the middle sector, I presume.
Perfect Pond, even though he's gone through all of that, he's still going to come out around 5 seconds behind David and on slower tyres. And now Joe thinks he can get back past. He had the traction and the DRS, still didn't have the speed though, and the racecraft to get past just then. As Danilo
David
in
has
the lead.
David has actually got stuck behind Harry, and we know Harry will be defending with all of that Ferrari and more. He will not be wanting to let David pass because essentially he's on the same strategy as them. They both need to do one stop, but David's losing so much time behind behind Harry, and maybe Danilo's overcut might be the perfect thing to do in the situation. If you're Prince, this is not worked out at all. Boxing onto the hards on lap 1 on the safety car to try and possibly fight back through the field is not worked at all, as Danilo's into the pits to serve his first and possibly only pit stop in this race. Is now David is going to have a superior run on Harry out of the final corner. It's easy pickings for the Haas up into P2 and ahead of Danilo, who's gone into another set of the softs and been overcut by Perfect Pond. So that is Danilo now committing to the two-stop strategy. Will he be able to gain enough time back on these guys to possibly still win this race? Is he now coming out of the pit lane with DRS, 82% ERS, looks for the move on Perfect Pond, but he's not going to rush it. He's going to be patient because he doesn't need to rush it. What he does need to do is clear him within the next lap or so he can catch up to Harry and catch up to David in the end. But he's actually lost a lot of time. The gap was around 2.7 when he boxed, and now is around 4.5 seconds.
Alright, so Danilo's strategy was a pretty decent strategy at that. I know he's fell victim to the undercut, but now he's on fresh soft tyres, quicker and fresher than Perfect Ponds. So this should be easy pickings for him as he comes through the main straight. He's going to pull to the right, no defending whatsoever from Perfect Pond. Absolutely going to freeze past, and up into P4 goes Danilo. Couldn't the strategy actually have worked? Because right now it definitely looks like it could have.
Definitely, but thing is, will he be able to catch up to these guys once he's made his second stop? If these guys are presumably not making another stop, but even if these guys are, they'll probably box onto a set of the softs, so all the advantage he gains now will be eroded in the final stint.
So Danilo got past Perfect Pond earlier this lap, might get past Harry on the next DRS straight. 2 overtakes in 1 lap possibly, definitely looks like it.
Down the inside. Up into P3 for Danilo. He's a man and missing. The gap is now 4.6 seconds to Euro David, and he will need to hunt him down and drive like a lion if he wants any chance of winning this race. He's 3/10 off David's fastest lap, but he did have to clear traffic on that lap, so that might not be fully representative of his real pace.
So, obviously, Danilo trying to catch up David. Perfect Pond's actually got ahead of Harry, which that's another overtake for the McLaren. And just even though Danilo trying to make the gap way smaller, he's not actually using it to that much of an effect, as he's actually losing.
Oh, K-Dots is off in sector 2. That might trigger a safety car or something as he retires on track, and that will be a penalty coming his way. But doesn't look like anything has been triggered as Dirk picks up a 3-second time penalty in the yellow flags, which is not what he would have wanted.
Danilo getting that, he's trying to get his memo together, and it certainly looks like he has. But the only reason he's gained time is because David had to slow it down because of that yellow flag.
Yeah.
And David himself is catching up a lot on Haas winners.
Danilo was 9/10 off his fastest lap on that lap. That is not a fantastic pace.
On those mediums, and he's going to finish lap 18 probably with the same tyres, unless he pits this lap.
I believe he actually started on the softs, but then he was one of the ones that boxed under the safety car to fit the mediums.
Yeah,
Let's now look at the penalties. Everyone in the top 15 on 3 seconds, apart from Dan, who has 6, and Conan Cron has 9. He just hasn't been able to find his pace this season, unlike his friend Prince, who's looking alright for a P9 finish, but I'm sure starting P3 that's not. I mean, starting P2. No, he did start P2. Starting P3. That's not what he would have wanted. But it's not the end of the world. It's now David is right on the back of Huswanis and looks for the move. Dan picks up another 3 second time. As I say that, he's on to 9 seconds. David will breeze past with DRS and ERS into turn 1, but he decides not to use ERS. And is he going to be close enough on the Red Bull? Gaining, sends it to the inside. Huswanis locks up, but he's going to fight this all the way over the curb, possibly getting a switchback on the Haas driver. Going to use his ERS. The Haas gets a poor exit as we now plunge down into turn 4. Can David outbrake Huswanis? Huswanis is going to send it to the outside, but David brakes later and takes P1 off the Red Bull driver.
The Red Bull fought that fiercely, but he just keeps looking up. If he didn't look up on that little bit there, he would have definitely he would have kept that lead there.
Definitely.
Around the outside.
But that battle has helped one person, and that is Danilo. The gap to Yaro Davids only 3.6 now, unlike it was 4.4 a few laps ago. But Davids in clean air now, and has Danilo still has to get past Huswanis, so that's going to be interesting for him as AJ UK picks up a 3 second time penalty. He's not had the greatest race to championship leader, and at this rate he will lose the lead to Harry, who's up in P5, but probably will box again. But so will AJ UK and possibly Huswanis as well. But these guys could be trying to go to the end. We are not sure.
Danilo, he's gonna have to see if he can do this 2-stopper. I don't think the softs are gonna last to the end. I mean,
yeah.
Not even the mediums will probably last, and
he has to use 2 different sets of tyres, so he definitely will be having to box again. So
I'm gonna say, if he can keep, they're quite new tyres still. If he can bring those on for long enough, maybe another set of softs are going to be coming on soon.
So you're riding forward with Prems now. His special tribute helmet to Sir Frank Williams, who, as I said earlier in the stream, passed away sadly this weekend. He's running a tribute helmet, but at the moment it is not working for him as he's down in P14 and 9 seconds behind the next car in Elite Casper. But back to the top. Here comes Danilo, getting past Huswanis into turn 1, and the gap is now only 2.4 seconds to David. Can Danilo still possibly win this race? He flies down into turn 4. 3/10 down in the first sector and runs a bit deep. But the race is kind of quieted down now. Everyone, his gaps are starting to form in the grid, and no one's really in the DRS range. Closest car to each other's are Dan and Wolfie. As now Wolfie looks for a move on the scout down, going around the outside on Dan into turn 1. Getting the move done. Yes, as Dan had a look on the inside. Maybe he might be able to get the switch back on the Williams, but the Williams will have DRS as he opens it, and there's nothing Dan can do there. He just has to stick behind and accept defeat in that battle.
Alright, so the ones at the front seem to be the ones that, if anything happens, penalties won't change anything, which, thank the Lord. For the last couple of races I've been commentating, I've had races determined on penalties, and I don't want that happening again. And they're very skilled drivers, as you can tell, out there doing their thing. And Danilo, even though he's on those soft tyres wear out quickly, and he's starting to lose the grip now. and kind of just time in general, as he has now lost a lot of time through these last couple of laps, and the gap is now 3.2 seconds, which has dropped him around maybe half a second time, which is just not what he needed at all.
David looks to be in complete control of this race at the moment. Nothing Danilo does can stop him from pulling the gap, as Perfect Pun is now up into P3 in this race, and Joe is within the RS range of Harry. His mediums look like they're starting to fall off a cliff, as we saw him get overtaken by the leaders, and now Joe on the hard tyres is looking for a move, doesn't get the best exits out of the final corner, but he'll still have enough ERS and DRS to challenge the Ferrari. Has almost no ERS left, and Joe's gonna swing to the inside. Harry's light starts flashing and Joe gets the move done before the braking zone, but he runs a bit deep, which might allow Harry to get a cut back on him down into turn 3, but he can't, and Prems is off in the middle sector, but he does have damage. He is crashed, and both Dan and Wolfie are into the pits, and those guys were some of the first to box under the safety car, so this could trigger loads of pit stops for the leading guys, as Swan is run very wide on the exit of the second sector.
Okay.
Prems is in.
Prems in the pits. Obviously the damage was terminal. Had to bring it in. Get that.
Swan stays out another lap. Doesn't look like he wants to box anytime soon. Joe also doesn't look like he wants to box. Prems now drops to last in this race. But Harry, he is pushing, but he doesn't look to have any answers at the moment for the hard tyre runner of Joe, and neither does Danilo. The gap is now 5 seconds at the top. It's going from bad to worse, as they're now navigating some traffic, which might be the reason why the Alpine is dropping time. And is that rain I see? That is rain. It's raining here at Mexico. And that is a massive curveball in this race.
I knew it was gonna come. I guessed. I could see the darkening in the clouds.
Yeah, I thought it was getting darker, but I just thought it was getting more overcast. I didn't think it actually rained. And that's a massive curveball. And now David is gonna box. That's very early, and this might be the wrong call. Danilo is also gonna box.
Danilo's in the pits as well. Perfect Pond is the next one to choose.
This might be a very bad call, because I actually did this in a league race about 2 weeks ago, and it was too early for the inters, and I was just sliding around.
DRS is disabled already. I honestly think it's time to go.
It is definitely time for the inters. Everyone is coming in. No,
rain.
That is so quick. The track
they're already catching people out.
Exactly.
As the championship leader had a collision with Prince.
Oh dear. The track just deteriorated so quickly.
Oh, Alfa Romeo having to double stack.
Oh, and that's terrible for Joe, because he's been held up by the two Alphas and to double stack as he could not exit the pit lane. That is absolute disasters. Now we watch Aston, who's struggling like Bambi on ice through the final sector. Can he keep it facing the right way? Wolfie and Dan also not a fan of the conditions. Dan nearly loses it. He has no traction, but
Aston,
in all the chaos,
Wolfie.
Oh, Dirk, is that Dirk around at turn 1? No, it's Kron. But anyways, in all the chaos, David has managed to extend his lead to 10 seconds, which is absolutely crazy. And Danilo now What was I gonna say? Yeah, Danilo now 6 seconds ahead of Perfect Pond. Is Koning Klont. He's slowing down. I think he's giving up. I'm not sure. He's on the wrong tyres, as is Prems, who oddly stayed out considering he was at the back and could have definitely boxed. As they're now like a minute behind the next car, both of them, and they're going to be struggling to get back into the pit lane. But David leads from Danilo from Perfect Pond as yellow flags in turn 1, and doesn't look like anything too severe. As now David is now coming up to lap Casper and Aston, and he would have lapped half the field, which is absolutely incredible considering what an interesting and close quali we had, as Prems has binned it in the entry to the stadium section. They need to get off those medium tyres. It is not working for them. Him and Koning Klont are just spinning around in the final sector, and yeah, it's not been the greatest day at the office for both of them, but at least they'll keep each other company at the back in the final few laps. It's all Prems nearly bins it into the pit lane, but Haswanis picks up another 3 seconds. He runs very wide, but David, 13 seconds is the gap. No one has an answer for his pace, and he looks like he's going to easily win this Mexican Grand Prix.
Unless he wins it.
Yes, unless he crashes. Now is not the time to be getting complacent if you are the Haas driver. But if I was Danilo, P2, it's a good day's work. Nothing you can really do about David. I just not take it too fast and just try and keep the points for P2. It's Koning Klont. He is not boxed, and he's just getting lapped by everyone, and I'm not quite sure what his plan is at the moment. But looks like Alfa Romeo's strategy isn't working very well for him, or his teammate Dirk, to be honest, who's in P7, a very lonely P7, but it is some okay points for him.
As you can quite tell, Koning Klont is absolutely soaring through the field right now on those medium tyres, doing so well, as you can tell, just absolutely firing that car up.
I told you it was too early for the Inters.
Look at the pace on that car, so quick, am I right? It's just so fast.
And Zhang gets slapped by his teammate.
I don't think anything compares to that pace whatsoever.
I think you can make a fair shout for David's pace today. He's been unstoppable. So he has
Absolutely
a bit of a moment on the exit of turn 3. AGRUK, another 3-second time penalty. Not the race the championship leader would have wanted. It's not been his day today here in Mexico. And Harry has had a good day up in P5 and will take championship lead at this rate. And Perfect Pond will claw back some crucial points on the top 2 if all stays the same. Who claw back 5 points on Harry and 11 on AGRUK.
On the wet tyres.
Prems has gone onto the wets now. Is this strategic masterclass or just stupidity like Koning Klont?
I'll give you a quick answer to that. No. There's no other answer besides... In fact, the rain's actually died down a bit. If anything, you should have... If you were pitting, if anything, you should have boxed on for new winters. But
let's see if he can keep up with Joe through the middle sector. Doesn't look like it at the moment. He has very little pace. Koning Klont finally boxes.
Mediums going on for Koning.
Mediums, I don't know what is going on at Alfa Romeo. Maybe they used up all their wet tyres during practice. But
absolute mental. Oh, Wolfie's
Wolfie is out. Wolfie has crashed. No, he has not
Wait,
crashed.
he
He's
crashed
retired.
into the pit lane.
No, he's retired in the pit lane. He's not crashed.
Oh,
I thought he had
I
crashed.
thought he hit the barrier on the way in.
No, he's just retired in the pit lane. Just
Here's
quite
an
disappointing for
overtake.
him. Yet again, 0 points for what was the championship leader through the early part of the season, led from about like round 4 to round 8 or so. But this latter part of the season has not gone well for him at all. There's no real battles here on track, but Pip Tech, you can make a claim, is getting very close to the Scout Dan. Only 6 tenths separating them as they're ghosted because they have to let Haswanis through. They've now been lapped by P4 in this race, and there's Williams going slowly, but that's Wolfie. As Dan runs very wide into the beginning of the S section. Wolfie leads the session, not the day the Irishman would have wanted. But for Aston, it's a good result for them because they looked way off the pace in qualifying, P17 and P19, but to get P10 and P12 as it stands, I think they'll be happy with that, to be honest. They haven't had a lot of pace through the latter part of the season, just like Wolfie, but it'll be good for them to pick up some points for the first time in a while, as Dan also comes into pits to retire from this session, just like Wolfie. Coney Clunt is still mucking about at the back, and Prems gets slapped by Dirk and understeers into the final corner. It's definitely not time for the wet compound tyres, I can tell you that. But David, 20 seconds is the gap at the front. This is unbelievable pace from David, and what looks to be like a cruising win for the Haas driver.
You know what he could probably do? He could pull over to the side of the track, you know, pull out the boards at the end of the race, grab a nice cheeseburger, just eat it in the cockpit,
Yeah.
and he'll still come out ahead after he's finished it.
At this rate, he could literally box it for new inters and just go for the fastest lap, because he is that far ahead. 21 seconds now, 1 second in the last 2 sectors.
If the
Incredible.
fastest lap was set on dry tyres and the wet, the wets and inters,
He could probably beat it though.
Knowing his pace, he probably could, yeah.
Incredible. But AGR UK now is closing the gap to Dirk. He will be wanting more points now than ever. It will be crucial for his championship. Even just 2 points he will gain from overtaking Dirk would be fantastic for him in his bid to keep championship lead, but he's sliding all over the place. Doesn't look like he has a lot of grip. Dirk also has 100% ERS, so it will be a very difficult move for the AlphaTauri if he can get anywhere near close. But he has a chance now down the main straight using all his ERS. Dirk also deploying his ERS. AGR UK has run out of ERS now, and he cannot challenge down to turn 1. I feel like that would be a key theme between those two in these last few laps. Just AGR UK nearly loses it. Conan Cron finally decides to retire from the session and does retire. Oh, he's actually crashed and he's brought out safety car.
Holy mac and cheese balls! Is that a possible change in the lead, maybe?
Oh dear. No one's
David
boxing.
would not be happy.
Yeah,
He
David
would be
is.
absolutely
He'll be
fuming in
fuming.
there. I'm bloody fuming. Yeah, I bet. I can hear him under his helmet. He's not going to be happy with it whatsoever.
Will anyone box for new inters here? But this is, if you're under P10, if you're Aston, this is terrible for you, because not only are you a lap down as Prince picks up a drive-through, not only are you a lap down, but this also brings the cars behind you very much close to you, which is definitely not what he would have wanted in the battle for points. Haswanis boxes for new inters. He's taken a gamble in these wet conditions, but Joe jumps him crucially. and he's behind another car. AGR UK moves up to P7 as Dirk boxes for Inters as well. So have a quick look at the penalties. Perfect Pond is on 9 seconds, so he definitely would not have been wanting a safety car, because this is going to send him almost to the back of all these cars from P1 to P9. And Joe will be loving the safety car because he has no penalties, and both the drivers ahead of him do. Harry only 3 seconds as Joe actually loses it under the safety car. Has Wanis overtakes him. Is Joe gonna re-overtake him? They're going side by side on the safety car, and Joe does get past under the safety car. That was a very interesting sequence of corners.
You know what? I'm not sure.
Oh, it's Prince. Oh my
He's
god.
He's got a drive-through penalty and he lost the back end, so he has to serve a
Yeah.
drive-through at the end of this race.
He cannot box. You cannot box on the safety car to serve drive-through, so he's gonna have to wait until the safety car is gone before he can serve it. Has Wanis and Joe make contact, and they are nowhere near each other, so I actually do not know what happened. But Wanis has lost his wing, and I'm baffled of what happened there between those two drivers. But David is not going to be loving this, because Danilo has another chance to get past the Haas and possibly ruin his party, both on 0 penalties, and will both be hungry for this win. Danilo can sense he can steal this race right at the death, but he knows it can also go very wrong if he mistimes his braking, or worse, maybe even makes contact with a Haas driver as he gets past a lapped car of Elite Casper, who's ghosted. I don't think, I believe you're allowed to overtake ghosted cars, but he's not, so maybe the game's not allowing him to. As Wanis, his race has been ruined. He drops down to P8. I'm not quite sure what happened between him and Joe. There will have to be an investigation towards the end of the race. But ADR UK, this is perfect for him. He's back in the driver's seat, but he does have 6 seconds. So does Harry, who somehow picks up another warning under the safety car. So this is driving seat for ADR UK. If he can get past Harry here, then all he needs to do is maintain his position, and he outscores both Harry and ADR UK and Perfect Pond, because Perfect Pond has 9 seconds of time penalties. But he will have to catch up to the safety car, which I believe will be in this lap, as it always has to allow for 2 laps of racing. So it'll be interesting to see if some of these guys will actually catch up to the pack. I think up to Prince will catch it, but Hezwanis, Joe, Prems, I don't think these guys will be able to catch the safety car by the time it comes around. Definitely not Aston, definitely not Piptech. They are almost getting lapped by the safety car, so I doubt they'll get anywhere near close.
So, here we've only got one little lap left behind the safety car. There's no let's go. And that must be free for once. It's almost the same feeling as your parents finally letting you out the house after being inside it for nearly 12 years. Basically the story of me, for any acknowledgement. But safety car should be coming in this lap, as he said before, only 2 laps of racing should be left if a coincidence like this happened, and as you can see now, it isn't. So everyone's geared up, ready to go.
ADR UK catches the safety car. Prince, Joe, Hezwanis, Dirk, none of these guys will catch the safety car.
And off he goes. No, wait. Sorry, I thought he went there.
When will David go? When will he pull the pin?
He's gonna wait right until the
And
final
he's gonna
moment.
go.
Exits
It's a
final
fantastic
corner.
restart. 1.5 seconds off the final corner already. Incredible. And Perfect Pond has had a massive crash, and Perfect Pond is backwards through turn 1. through the final corner. AJUK is up into P3, and what has happened there at the final corner? What has happened is a massive swing in the championship standings as it stands. AJUK up into P3 as he's gone AI for whatever reason. I'm not quite sure, but he's racing again now. Joe's into P5, has won his P6, Dirk P7, Prince P8 up 7 his drive through. Perfect Pond has, from somehow looking like a quite easy P3 finish for him, is now down in P9 with 13 seconds between him and the next car.
It could have been anything gone out of the window for David at the start. He's made the best of it, and from pole, he's going to take the victory, but it's not the final lap yet. Still got one lap left.
Anything can happen.
As long as he keeps it out of the barriers, he should be okay.
Oh, that's a bit of a moment out of the final corner, but 6 seconds in one lap. The safety car restart, and he's gained 6 seconds. I wonder if he was just, if he had a wet setup the whole time, and this is in even his real pace. This man is incredible, and he's absolutely dominated tier 2 today. No one else can match him. Danilo was the closest man to him, but even he wasn't able to match David throughout this race. As now Prince is only 2 tenths behind Dirk. Prem retires in the pit lane. Here comes Prince looking for the move on Dirk down into turn 1. The Alpine versus the Alfa Romeo. Both are going to be late on the brakes. Dirk is gonna, they're very equal under braking. Prince is going to keep it down the inside though, and Dirk is going to hold it around the outside, and Prince has a massive moment, which means he cannot challenge off of the exit on the corner. And this
finally time for David to win the race. It's been an absolute roller coaster for him.
Oh, and Prince and Dirk are off. They've I don't know, they've made some contact of some kind, and they're both off.
That will be investigated after the race.
Yeah, definitely. But meanwhile, David rounds the final corner to crush the opposition in Mexico and win in tier 2. What a fantastic race from the house. As he weaves across the line. Danilo will come home for P2. Very good race, the best he could do today. AJUK will be absolutely pleased to somehow outscore both his championship rivals after being down in the dumps after the first few laps. Joe finishes in P5, which has won his P6, and Dirk and Perfect Pond now are battling out on the final lap of the race. Can Perfect Pond possibly overtake the Alfa Romeo in the final corner? Doesn't look like it, but maybe he might be able to, as Dirk gets it. Prince gets 10 seconds for his corner cutting, but Perfect Pond falls behind the penalties anyways. Prince will come home for no points as he crashes into the pit lane wall. So actually he will get points because Casper and Pittec have already crossed the line. But Aston will be promoted to P9, which will mean 2 points for the Alfa Romeo team. He's happy about it. I'm sure his teammate Dan will be happy about it, as Aston Martin pick up some points for the first time in a while and spins across the line to finish the race and end it in P9.
What a crazy race here at Mexico.
A race.
It was crazy to see the rain pop out right at the end, and it wasn't expected by any of us by any means.
It definitely brought chaos.
David, even in the wet conditions, even in the dry, any conditions cannot stop this man as he wins the Mexico Grand Prix, and it's champagne time up on the podium.
The Norwegian driver will be ecstatic with this win after not having the best of weeks in Portimao in his actual debut in this league, his second race, and he's already proving why the admin should consider him for tier 1. But let's run through the final race results. David wins it by 8 seconds to Danilo. Should have been about 20 if it hadn't been for that late stage. Got Edge RUK, damage limitation, beautiful from him. Manages to pick up points over Harry and Perfect Punda, who ends up finishing 8th. Joe finishes P5, another strong result for AlphaTauri. That would set them further in front in the Constructors' Championship. Has Wanis P6, Dirk P7. Aston picks up P9 from starting P17 on the grid. Him and David are definitely my shouts for driver of the day, but I'll definitely give it to Aston Martin because of his first points in a while. Prince picks up P10 after oddly crashing out on the line. Casper P11, Piptech P12, both got lapped, and then Prems, the first of the retirements, Prems, Dan, Wolfie, Koenig, Live OK Dots, Jville and Black Country Mesh all didn't make the line in today's Mexican Grand Prix.
Harry is probably my driver of the day. He started 11th on the grid, and he ended up finishing just out of the podium, but in 4th. No one mentioned him at all.
Yeah, very underrated drive.
He's pulled off the 2-stop strategy, and he's made it work.
It's a clean sweep for David though. Pole position, fastest lap, and a win here at the NRL Mexican Grand Prix. And don't forget, if you want to support us, you can hit the follow button, or if you want to support the league even further, you can subscribe, which unlocks emotes for you and really helps us out as a league. The stream is of course sponsored by Forget Me Not. Forget Me Not are a business that creates everything you need for special occasions. They do balloons, cards, engagement gifts, and even stuff for birthday parties. They're a really cool company. You can even hire them for christenings and weddings. So if you want anything from Forget Me Not, head over to our Discord and check their website in our channels. But thank you for all joining us today. Good weekend for the championship leader. He will extend his lead, and good weekend for AlphaTauri. They also extend their lead. But there was only one man who was on top today, and that was David. And he'll take 26 points and pole position to his next round at Brazil, where he'll be in the finest of forms. And let's hope for another fantastic performance from the Haas, but hopefully giving the opposition a bit of a chance. But anyways, it's been F1 Level here, and Jack the Cool Fellow. Thank you for joining us today, and we will see you next week for the Brazilian Grand Prix.